everyone, it's Hannah here from Virtually Fluent. Welcome to today's video, which is a British culture video. We're going to talk about driving here in the UK. We're going to talk about the process of getting a driving licence here in the UK, some of the basic laws from the Highway Code, and a few fun facts about driving here in the UK too. You'll learn lots of driving related vocabulary along the way. If you'd like to practice this vocabulary, you can take our online course, which has lots more vocabulary and phrases for real life driving situations too, such as renting a car and dealing with problems with a car here in the UK. I've left the link to that online course in the description below. Let's get started with driving in the UK. So, do you actually need a car here in the UK? Well, if you live in the big cities such as London, Manchester and Birmingham, the public transport is pretty good, so it's easy to get around without a private car. However, if you live in a rural area out in the countryside, there's very little public transport, so you will definitely need a car to get around. Around 3/4 of UK adults hold a British driving licence. And there are 3 important steps you need to take in order to get one. First, you need to apply for a provisional driving license. You can do this from the age of 17 for a car, but there are different age limits and requirements depending on what kind of vehicle you would like to drive. Now, this is just an online application with a small fee, and once you've received this provisional driving license through the post, you can then put L plates on your car and you can drive around, but you cannot drive around alone. You must have another qualified driver in the car with you at all times when practicing. And many people will start taking private driving lessons at this point too. The second step is taking the driving theory test. Now, this is a set of multiple choice questions and a hazard perception test based on the rules from the Highway Code. That's the official rulebook for UK roads. And the third step is that you would finally take the practical test. This is where you sit in the car with a driving examiner, you do a little route, they will ask you some questions, and if you pass, you will then get your full driving license. At this point, you can then drive on the roads alone. A lot of new learners will then put these green P plates on the back of the car to let other drivers know that they're a new driver on the road. Driving laws in the UK are really strict. You must always wear a seatbelt. You cannot touch your phone at all while driving. And you'll see a lot of speed cameras, especially on the motorways and dual carriageways. If you do break any of the laws or get caught speeding, you may receive penalty points on your license, a fine, or you may even have your license taken away from you. The UK also has very clear drink driving laws. The drink drive limit in England is 35 micrograms of alcohol per 100 millilitres of breath, but this is lower in Scotland. Honestly, the safest option, if you're thinking of driving, don't drink. Children under 135 centimetres in height must use an approved car seat when travelling in a car. There are lots of different rules inside the Highway Code. We're not going to go into detail with all of those today, just a few interesting ones that I'm going to highlight. You are charged for splashing people with your car. You are also charged for not keeping your number plate clean and visible at all times when driving. And you're also charged for not correctly removing snow off your car roof. Now, driving here in the UK is definitely not cheap. By law, you need car insurance, vehicle, also called road tax. This goes to the DVLA, which is the driving authority, and this should cover costs such as filling potholes on the roads. You also need a yearly MOT test to ensure that your car is safe to drive on the road. You'll need to keep your car serviced annually. You have the general upkeep and repairs. Parking can also be expensive. If you go to a city or a town for the day, you will have parking fees for individual car parks. However, if you have on-street parking near your house, particularly in city centres, you may have to pay for a parking permit. And of course, you have the cost of fuel. Both petrol and diesel can be expensive, so all of these costs you would need to bear in mind when driving here in the UK. In terms of extra costs, we don't have that many toll roads here, but we do have some special charges in the big cities. For example, London has a congestion charge and ULEZ, an ultra-low emission zone, particularly for the older, more polluting cars. And of course, this is on top of the actual cost of buying the car itself, which will most likely depreciate in value over time anyway. A few fun facts about driving here in the UK. We drive on the left-hand side of the road. Speed is measured in miles per hour, mph. Roads follow a special alphabetical system. The letter M for motorways, A for A roads, and B for B roads. Each road has a special name, and it will often be one of these letters followed by a series of numbers. It's also important to stop at zebra crossings for pedestrians here in the UK. I've lived in other countries before and that doesn't really seem to happen everywhere. It's really important here in the UK to stop at a zebra crossing for a pedestrian. When you buy fuel here in the UK, you fill up the car yourself. Then you would walk inside to the petrol station and tell the cashier your pump number to make a payment for the fuel that you have put in your car. And finally, you might not hear that much honking of the car horn here in the UK. Generally, people would only use it when the car is in danger, and there are strict noise pollution laws about when you can use your car horn, particularly in cities. If you are renting a car here in the UK, also be careful. The rules will vary from one rental company to another. In general, you can't drive unless you are over the age of 25. And depending on which country you come from and which license you have from your home country, you may need an international driving permit to rent a car here. Always check before you book. So driving here in the UK can be really useful, especially outside of cities. But there are rules, tests, and costs. If you learned something new today, go ahead and give today's video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn notifications on so you know exactly when we have released new YouTube videos on English grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. That's everything for today. This is Hannah from Virtually Fluent, bringing English to life.